Hi there, I hope everything is okay. Also, mental health problems have been recorded in many different eras, including queens called crazy or quite strange behaviors of various characters. It was not until the 19th century that psychiatry gained strength. Even so, in the 21st century, we still see people with behaviors that would require at least some checkup. Maybe even me or you. Without wanting to diagnose or try to replace a mental health professional, there are some points to keep in mind on this subject. First one is the increase in disorders related to mental health. That's obvious. More than 40 years ago, I have begun my personal development and I have become an observer of human behavior. And I tell you, something strange is happening. There is more stress, just an example. But people are not caring about that as much as in the past, which makes people not take care of themselves as they should. Another one, there is much more anxiety than before, but little attention to prevent it. And not to mention behaviors clearly relate to depression and people confuse with just sadness. The second thing is without being doctors, we cannot diagnose, but we can suffer because of others' mental health issues. So we need to build up a protective armor, a fortress, or learn, like in football, to dribble with these people, negotiating schedules and behaviors. There are many cases of caregivers, relatives, and friends who get sick because of others' mental health. And self care. Relate to the former topic, in addition to protecting ourselves from others' disorders, we must keep our minds agile, alive, bright, happy, positive, full of love and peace. It is important to learn soft skills. They make that easier, such as communication skills, and also to keep a clean, pleasant environment. It's our safe harbor. Now, among all mental health disorders, there is what we could call a whole section dedicated to addictions and their effects on a person. As someone connected to the world through the internet, it's something you should know very well about. Officially, internet is not an addiction, nor does its use cause addiction, but many experts do consider that its excessive and compulsive use is a behavior addiction. Gaming is already considered harmful, the internet gaming disorder. So, what to do? Addiction will always be bad, whatever it is, and perhaps this is the first key to avoid or overcome it, understanding its damage. I do not want to go again into technical or medical stuff, but I suggest an exploration on the subject for a better understanding on how addiction works. What I can do is mention something a good friend of mine, Dr. Prashant, who lives in Cambridge, and he's a doctor there, England, and he's also a teacher of Raja Yoga meditation. So many years ago in Colombia, he presented this to the Ministry of Health. And he took a whiteboard and he took the example of serotonin, a chemical substance that the body produces naturally and, according to him, is responsible for very pleasant moods and nice happiness. Associating the subject with cigarettes and therefore with addiction, he designed a chart in which an individual would originally be at a certain level of serotonin, consequently, that much happiness. When the person smokes, oh, it goes up considerably. So they get happy, the gratification is immediate, but it passes by. After a while, the serotonin level goes down, and what Dr. Prashant showed is that it goes down more than the initial level. That is, when someone smokes, their happiness goes up, but when it goes down, gets worse. This forces a person to smoke more frequently or stronger products in order to get back to the level of happiness they experienced before. And you know what? That level will be difficult to attain again. In reality, the second cigarette will not give the same happiness as the first. And the umpteenth cigarette will probably give much less than a person's normal level. That's how addiction works. Okay, does the same thing happen with internet? Possibly. When someone watches super entertaining or very interesting videos, they lose valuable hours. But there is an immediate gratification, quick happiness. The person feels less lonely and experiences something good. It's very likely that the next day, or even hours later, more hours will be wasted on a similar way, and there will no longer be as much happiness. The cycle of addiction also appears in a bad management of internet. I do think so. So what to do? Some tips can help avoid addiction while still using the tools that internet provides. They are good. First, limit your screen time. Many applications have an inbuilt system that pauses after a certain time. Use them. Get out more. Have more personal conversations. Make purchases, but in person. This would neutralize the virtual tourism that has become a reality. Talking via messaging or platforms like Zoom that's becoming the most used means to relate to others, and virtual shopping too, which does not need to be talked about much. I think everybody knows that. Be more aware of the use of internet. Are there ways to avoid the screen? You can go back to reading paper books or using notebooks to write as examples. Even using files present on the computer instead of searching the internet ad infinitum, that can somehow mitigate the addiction. Now, one point is important: re-education. Internet offers are incredible, but because we are not too educated on how to use it, we waste time in the digital labyrinth. Courses and training will reduce digital illiteracy, making us use platforms and tools better without wasting so much time. And let's be careful with the challenge of AI. Has already been part of life for many years, but it's currently gaining ground, potentially displacing jobs either by replacement or require a specialization. Use your AI in moderation on necessary topics, prioritizing your reasoning and research capacity. Train yourself instead of overusing AI platforms whenever is possible. We need to watch carefully this topic development for the next few years. But let's start with our relationship with the digital world. A world that's fascinating, no doubt, but not essential. Okay? Hope this is useful for you. A big hug from the distance, but go and take some hug from someone there you have close. Okay? Take care. Bye bye.